to think about, and then a whole family to care for. It's a lot of responsibility. And then you don't want the commitment. I don't want no man holding me down because I think I can make it as a single parent. I think I can make it as a single parent. But don't you think you might need help in raising that baby from a man? Not really. I didn't have a father. My father wasn't in the room, so it really male figures are not substantially important in the family. Male figures are not substantially important in the family. Male figures are not substantially important in the family. Are not substantially important in the family. Male figures are not substantially important in the family. Male figures are not substantially important in the family.
Now, this is Bible prophecy that we watching because you do not have this stuff in these other nations. It's not going down. And it's not a natural thing. You see, that's why in Timothy it was talking about they will have no natural affection in the last days. But also, people think that they done made it out of slavery or something. They thinking that they free. They brought a bunch of people over here on slave ships and chains, took them off the slave ships, started dispersing them to these darn big plantation farmhouses. Then you had in 1850 the Homestead Agreement or whatever, the Homestead Act, where they went to selling land to all these so-called European nations, telling them that y'all can come over here and we'll give you some land and give you some slaves to work on the land. Ain't nothing changed, man. Only situation changed is the court, the house, the White House is the big house. See, it went from having a bunch of slave houses to one slave house, the White House. And ain't nothing else changed in the dynamics of this situation. You got a bunch of captive people and the government selling off land to individuals that want to put they behind the work. And the land is pretty much now, it ain't the field like the cotton field. It's a work field, a job. Kmart, Walmart, McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's. You see? Winn-Dixie, Amazon, any kind of corporation you can think of, those are the fields now. Because these Negroes ain't coming up with no major businesses, and if they is, they like a bounty hunter. They just helping the so-called slave master get to where he trying to go. But on that plantation, when you take it back to when it was just simply understood that you was a bunch of slaves and you had a big plantation, what kind of relationship you finna have? You gonna be in that shed, and some slave masters allowed the man to take one of the slave girls and produce more slaves. See, it was an end game for him. Now he would sneak out there and get the slave girl, and after she done pumped out some children and start looking all voluptuous, he gonna go and take the slave girl and have sex with her and some children with her too. While the buck that he got having children with the darn woman. Ain't nothing changed. People just thinking just because something changing on some scale that the major dynamics of the situation changed. The foundation was the plantation. and they just switched it up a little bit and expanded it. That's all they did. It is still the foundation of the plantation. And see, these women, they are the wenches, or the bed wenches of the slave master. And that's why they don't depend on the slave man, the bond man. They not finna depend on him. They say I'm like on Django. What you want me to do, Big Daddy? You want me to treat them? You want us to treat them like white folk? No, don't treat them like white folk. Well, I don't know what you want me to do, Big Daddy. See, they looking to him because he is in control. He is the boss. They is in his house. See, that's what the simple-minded thing is about. See, fools hate knowledge. Now let's go into the scriptures and get some knowledge. People keep freezing up my phone. Now what was the prophecy about these women in the household, man? Isaiah 3:12, it says, as for my people, children are their oppressors, and women rule over them. See, women is the rulers in these households, because the man don't have nothing. He is in captive. He got chains around him. He looking to the white man like he in prison, and the white man is the guard. And every other nation that move here, they the guards, and what you call it, the ward. The white man is the warden. He come to your cell and see if you're doing all right. He come to the cell and talk on you. He walk through the jailhouse and see if everything is in order. You can work in the prison. They work in the prison all day. They got an exercise room spot for them. They can walk around the place. He can trust some of them and move them up into trustees, like on life. I ain't no bootlicking trustee. I'm a man. Yeah, you a man, but you still a bootlicking trustee. This is the dynamics of this situation, man. Ain't nothing changed now. Just because niggas got cars and they got houses, that ain't nothing. The White House is the big plantation now. That's the big house. And you got the slave quarters out throughout the whole 50 states. It's a bunch of slave quarters. And they divided the slave quarters with the whites is in the suburbs, and the whites in number like the overseers. The overseers had their houses on one side, and the slave quarters was on another side. You got the suburbs, and then you got the hood in the urban community, and you got the country. Even in the country, it's still a division between the two, the overseers and the slaves. Nothing has changed from that first dynamic. But they pulled a great mind trick when they did the Emancipation Proclamation, meaning that it put the slaves was the property of the White House, of the government. It wasn't the property of Master Johnson and Master Jefferson no more. They was the property of the White House. They belonged to the United States government. But the women were set up. Look at what the verse goes on to say. O my people, they which lead you, which are the women, cause you to error, and destroy the way of thy path. What is these women causing? They causing the female children to be like them, to not want a man, and not think it's necessary to have a man, to think it's necessary to obey a man. What they doing to the boys, making them live a life of mama boy. He got the Oedipus complex, where he want to be in the her husband spot to his mama. He playing husband to the mama and depending on the mama like that's his wife, like that's his woman, and then a lovey-dovey relationship, and he don't never grow up to be a man. She's still wiping his mouth when he a grown behind man, pampering him. He calling her when he got a problem. He don't know how to solve his own problem like a man. The women ruling over the house is destroying the children. That's why I say children are their oppressors. The children wind up being the women that rule over the house. And the men wind up, and domestic violence is all over the place. In the Blacks, Hispanics, and Native American community, domestic violence is at the highest level ever because they believe in the hype of the slave master. When they came over here with the Native Americans, they told the women, you got y'all sharing this man, 7 of y'all women sharing this man, y'all can't do that. Now y'all are the boss, and the man can't have no other women. You can sneak out and do what you want to do, but he can't have more than one woman. He only can have you, and you gonna tell him what to do. See, that's what the White House told these people when they got off the plantation. Because the Native Americans had 7 wives until 1865 when the White House took over, when the United States of America took over. See, and they just caused the slavery to get even worse. Because now the slave master ain't supplying you with what you need. He working you and throwing you a check, and the government is regulating it. But you can't gripe to the government about what he doing. You happy to even find a slave master so he can give you some money, you can buy something out of the store. The government don't care what you're doing. They really want you to depend on them. See? But this is the dynamics that we dealing with. These women ain't too much changed. Yes, it was a short period of time between the 1900s and the 1960s that these women could find a man that could find a job that could support the whole family, because they had segregation going on. They had to create their own businesses and jobs to a certain level because the slave master and his children didn't want to deal with them. The people that was coming over here from other countries didn't want to deal with and mingle with these people until 1970, when the elite said, y'all just gonna have to deal with them. You gonna have to deal with them. And in 1970, when they recorded this video, these women had adopted all of the philosophies and the lies of these so-called red dragons. In Revelation 12, had adopted everything that he said. That's why I say the red dragon would deceive all the nations, and mainly the 12 tribes of Israel, the Blacks, Hispanics, and Native American. See, now in Deuteronomy 28 and 54, it tells you that these women not going to depend on no man. They're not going to deal with no man. They're going to destroy the man, women, the man and the children. They're not going to care. They're going to have an evil eye towards their children and their man. And it's going to be about them. See, she said, I don't want to be committed to this man. I want to be free to worry about myself. I got other things to worry about than to be trying to worry about a man. See, that's what she said. But this is exposing these dragons. See, it's exposing the lies that these people did, because now we got results from what the lies that they was telling. Yeah, the community is destroyed, but we got results. And then look at this here. Leviticus, let's see here. 21. Is it 21 and 9? Bingo. 21 and 9, but no, I'm thinking of 19. Thinking of 19 and 29. Say, do not prostitute thy daughter to cause her to be a whore, lest the land fall to whoredom and the land become full of wickedness. See, this is why the whole land is full of wickedness, because these people have caused our women to be whores, because they pushing this one woman thing, and the man go and get him another woman, and she go crazy and becomes a whore instantly. She live a life of jealousy, and any man she get with, the jealousy is a flaming fire, because Proverbs say the jealousy, the rage, he say jealousy is the rage of a man. So these women are enraged at all times. They lions and dragons in the household. So ain't no man gonna stay around for too long, and she gonna end up being a whore, and that's why the land is full of wickedness. And majorly the blacks, Hispanics, and Native American community full of wickedness. Men killing the women at a rate that you can't even imagine, especially in the Latino Spanish countries in Brazil and down south, South America. The women dying, they killing the women every 2 hours. You find a woman dead somewhere every 2 hours, because they don't understand the importance of a man. They got an evil eye towards a man. They've been made into a whore due to Christianity telling them that a man can have but one wife, even though the law tells them that a man can have more than one wife, more than one woman. See? And they come up with every kind of excuse to get around that law, but you can't get around that law. See? That's why Proverbs, let's get this real quick. I'm going to close out. Isaiah 8 and 20. You can't get around that law. It say, to the law and to the testimony, if they speak not according to this word, it is because there is no light in them. See, ain't no light in you. You trying to tell somebody about a law being done away with. About you can't be with no 2 wives or 3 wives. You can't practice polygamy. See, you can't be in a polygamous relationship. That's destroying these women, causing them to be a bunch of whores. Because that man gonna want, that's why he set the law like that. Because the man gonna want to do what he want to do. He's not a creation that's supposed to have boundaries outside that law. That law is the boundary. If you go around that law, now you done cross the boundary, and that's when you cross the boundary. A man can't have but one wife. See, that's even changing the law. That's taken away from the law. And that's why plagues hitting these communities where these women are dropping dead because of domestic violence, because they believe in the serpent, the devil. And the White House forced the Native Americans to do it. They was even trying to do it on behind closed doors, but the article that I was reading said the bullets, the white man bullets, wasn't enough to stop them from doing it. But that they were trying to stop them with these bullets, and that's probably why they was almost exterminating the people, because the people wasn't going for no, you got to have one wife stuff. But these people not gonna talk to the law and to the testimony. They gonna run their mouth about how they feel something should be, and somebody don't understand something. No, we understand the law, just like you understand the so-called slave master law. We understand the law that Moses got from the Most High. And these women are out of order. They are outside of the law due to the so-called red dragon. That's the slave master. But I'm going to leave it there. All praises to Yahweh, Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Hashem, Kakadash. Double honor to the elders pushing the truth. Peace to the elect worldwide. Our kingdom is at hand. Shalom.